On September 21st, 2023, a young mother walked into work at a Toyota dealership in Albany, California, ready to start her day. She would never make it home. In front of her coworkers, 24-year-old Alonna Gallon was fatally shot by the father of her child. The place where she worked, where she should have been safe, became the scene of a horrific act of violence. The gunman was Lamar Walker, the father of her 7-year-old son. Moments later, he turned the gun on himself, but the tragedy didn't end there. What led to this moment? Was there a warning? Could something have been done to stop it? This was not a random act of violence. It was the result of control, fear, and a dangerous pattern that had been building for years. To understand how this happened, we need to start with Alonna's story. Alonna Gallon was a mother before anything else. Her life revolved around one person, her son, King. From the moment she found out she was pregnant, at just 17 years old, she made a silent promise to him. No matter what life threw at her, no matter how hard things got, she would always be there. She would always make sure he had the life she dreamed of giving him. But how do you protect someone you love when the danger isn't a stranger, but someone you once trusted? Growing up in Richmond, California, Alonna wasn't the loudest person in the room. She didn't demand attention. She was quiet, reserved, but once you got to know her, she had a goofy side that could make anyone laugh. People who knew her say she was the kind of person who never wanted to be a burden to anyone. She carried her struggles on her own shoulders and kept pushing forward, no matter how heavy they got. When she had King, everything changed. She was young, but she was determined. She worked long hours, making sure she could provide for her son. Every paycheck, every decision was for him. She got a job at Toyota of Berkeley Service Center in Albany, California, a stable position that gave her a sense of security. It wasn't her dream job, but it was a step forward, a step towards something better. Have you ever met someone who kept pushing forward no matter what life threw at them? That was Alonna. Her coworkers remember her as a hardworking young woman who kept to herself but was always polite. Every day she showed up. Every day she worked to build a future. But there was something else in her life that she couldn't ignore. Lamar Walker, the father of her son, the man she had once trusted, the man who, over time, became someone she needed to stay away from. Alonna and Lamar had met when they were teenagers. At first, things were good. Young love has a way of making promises it can't always keep. But as time passed, things changed. Lamar changed. Have you ever seen someone change right before your eyes? One day they're loving and supportive, and the next they're someone you don't even recognize. He had moved to Atlanta for a while, and Alonna took that as a chance to regain control of her life. She focused on her job, on raising King, on putting distance between herself and the past. But Lamar came back. And when he did, he brought something with him. Anger, resentment, a sense of control he wasn't ready to let go of. Alonna had already made up her mind she wanted nothing to do with him. She was ready to move on, to build a life without him in it. But for Lamar, that wasn't an option. September 21st, 2023 started like any other day for Alonna Gallon. She woke up in her home in Richmond, California, ready to take on another day. Like every morning, her first priority was her 7-year-old son, King. She made sure he was up and ready for school, packed his things, and gave him a goodbye hug. She didn't know it would be the last time she would ever see him. Have you ever had a moment where you wish you could go back, say one more word, give one more hug, take a different turn? Alonna had no way of knowing that the day ahead would end in tragedy. She got ready for work, grabbed her things, and left for the Toyota of Berkeley Service Center in Albany, California, where she worked hard every day to provide for her son. Alonna wasn't just working a job, she was building a future. Would things have been different if she had stayed home that day? Or was this something that was going to happen no matter what? Sometime that morning, Lamar Walker, the father of her son, showed up at the service center. Employees saw him walk in with coffee, handing one cup to Alonna. A small gesture, an innocent act. But why now? Lamar wasn't a regular visitor. He had never shown up to bring Alonna coffee before. Was this his way of pretending everything was fine? A way to lower her guard? Or was this part of his plan all along? At the time, no one thought much of it. But a few hours later, he came back. This time he wasn't carrying coffee. He walked straight inside, moving with purpose. Surveillance cameras caught him entering the building again. Employees noticed him, but he wasn't yelling, wasn't arguing. There were no raised voices, no warning signs. Then, everything changed. At around 11:15 a.m., a normal day at work. Employees moving around, phones ringing, mechanics fixing cars in the garage. And then a gunshot. Lamar had pulled out a gun and shot Alonna at point-blank range. She had no time to react, no time to scream. 1 second she was standing there working. The next, she was on the ground. Have you ever been in a situation where everything changed in an instant? Where the world around you wasn't the same anymore? That's what her coworkers felt in that moment. The service center erupted into chaos. People screamed. They ran. 911 calls flooded in. One voice stood out. There's a man with a gun, he just shot her. She's not moving. What makes someone do this? How does a person wake up one morning and decide this is the day they take a life? Lamar stood there, watching what he had done. And then he turned the gun on himself. Another gunshot echoed through the service center. But Lamar was still alive. Berkeley police officers rushed to the scene. They entered the building, weapons drawn, expecting the worst. They found him on the second floor, crouched near a desk, bleeding. They gave him one last chance. Put your hands up. But Lamar didn't listen. Instead, he pointed his gun at the officers. What do you think happened next? They had no choice. 5 officers fired. Lamar was hit multiple times. This time, he wouldn't survive. Nearby, Alonna lay motionless. The woman who had spent her life caring for her son, who had gotten up that morning like it was just another day, was now gone. Her workplace, where she had shown up every morning, where she had greeted coworkers, where she had spent hours building a future, had become the site of her last moments. If she had known, if she had seen the signs, could she have gotten away? The news of her death shattered her family and friends. But there was one person this tragedy would hurt the most. In the days that followed, shock spread through the community. Coworkers struggled to make sense of what they had seen. One of them later said, "I just keep thinking she was right there." And then she wasn't. Another remembered how Lamar had brought her coffee that morning. We thought he was just trying to be nice. But was it a goodbye? Was it a way to make her feel safe, one last act before taking her life? Looking back, were there signs that people missed? Did anyone sense that something wasn't right? Or was Alonna's fate sealed long before that day? The news of Alonna's death hit hard. Her family, her friends, even people who had never met her, they all felt the weight of the loss. At a candlelight vigil, people held signs with her name. They spoke about her kindness, her love for her son, her dreams. And they asked the same question everyone was thinking: why? Why did this happen? Could anything have been done to stop it? This wasn't a random act of violence. This wasn't a senseless shooting with no motive. This was domestic violence. A woman who had tried to distance herself from a man who refused to let go. How many women find themselves in this same situation? How many people see the warning signs and do nothing? If someone had stepped in earlier, would Alonna still be alive today? What do you think? Let us know in the comments. And if you are enjoying the story so far, take a moment to hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss out on other interesting stories. Who was Lamar Walker? That's the question many asked after the morning of September 21st, 2023, when he walked into the Toyota of Berkeley Service Center, pulled out a gun, and shot the mother of his child in front of her coworkers. How does a person get to that point? Was there a moment before he pulled the trigger when he hesitated, when he thought about what he was about to do? Or had his mind already been made up long before that day? Lamar Walker was 24 years old, a father, the man Alonna Gallon had once trusted, the man she had a child with. They had met years ago as teenagers when life still felt open with possibilities. But love doesn't always last. And when it fades, Sometimes one person lets go while the other can't accept it. At some point, Alonna had decided she was done. She was moving on, focusing on her son, and keeping her distance from Lamar. But Lamar didn't want that distance. He had been living in Atlanta for a while, away from Alonna and King, but recently he came back to California. Why did he return? Did he really want to reconnect with his son? Or was there something darker behind his decision to come back? Because shortly after Alonna was gone, looking back, were there warning signs? Did anyone see what was coming? People close to Alonna have never spoken publicly about whether Lamar had ever been violent before. But domestic violence experts say these crimes don't happen out of nowhere. Most of the time there are signs: controlling behavior, jealousy, constant accusations. Did Alonna ever feel trapped? Did she ever feel like no matter what she did, Lamar would always try to control her? And if she did, who did she tell? Reports never mentioned a restraining order against Lamar. But did Alonna ever consider it? If she had gone to the police and said she felt unsafe, would it have made a difference? Would she still be alive? It's easy to call Lamar Walker a monster, a cold-blooded killer, someone who walked into a place where he wasn't supposed to be and took a mother away from her child. But is it ever really that simple? What drives a man to kill the mother of his child? Was it rage, jealousy, a need for control? Or was it something deeper? Some men don't handle rejection well. To them, love is not a choice, it's a possession. And when that possession decides to walk away, they can't accept it. So they decide if they can't have her, no one else can. Was that what Lamar was thinking when he walked into that building? Was that what made him pull the trigger? Or had he been telling himself a different story, a story where he was the victim, where Alonna was the one who had wronged him, where he was justified in what he was about to do? Now both Alonna and Lamar are gone, and the one left behind in all of this is their son, King, a 7-year-old child, a child who will never hear his mother's voice again, a child who will one day grow up and ask why. Why did his father kill his mother? Why did his father take his own life? Why didn't anyone stop this before it happened? And most importantly, how do we make sure this never happens again? What do you think? Was there a moment where this could have been prevented? Could someone have stepped in? Tell us your thoughts in the comments. By the time the news reached Alonna's family, the worst had already happened. Her mother, Alonna Gallon, had to face a reality no mother should ever have to face. Her daughter gone. Her grandson now without both parents, and no one could change it. For Alonna's loved ones, the questions came fast. Why did this happen? Was there something we missed? Was there anything that could have saved her? But the hardest part, when the news broke, the community came together. A GoFundMe was launched to support King, helping provide for his future, his education, his therapy, his life without his mother. People donated. They left messages. They mourned together. They didn't want this little boy to face the world alone, because King had already lost too much. First, his mother, then his father. Now his entire life would never be the same. The news spread quickly. Local and national outlets picked up the story. Headlines flashed across screens: mother fatally shot by child's father in front of coworkers. Deadly workplace shooting shakes Bay Area. Orphaned at 7, the tragedy of Alonna Gallon, Lamar Walker. But this wasn't just another crime story. Because this wasn't random violence. This wasn't about a robbery or a workplace dispute. This was domestic violence. A woman who had tried to move on. A man who had refused to let her. And when he realized he was losing control, he made one final, irreversible choice. This story isn't just about Alonna. It's about the thousands of women in similar situations. The ones who see the red flags. The ones who feel the fear creeping in. The ones who wonder if they're next. And maybe, right now, someone watching this video is in that same position. Maybe someone is hearing the warning signs in their own life. And maybe, just maybe, this story can save them. Alonna is gone. Lamar is gone. But King, he's still here. And now, it's up to the people left behind, his family, his community, and people like you to make sure he's not forgotten. To make sure his mother's name is not just another headline. To make sure this never happens to someone else. If you or someone you know is in a dangerous relationship, please don't wait. There is help. There is a way out. If you believe domestic violence victims deserve better, leave a comment below. Let's talk about this. Let's stop the silence. Let's make sure Alonna's story means something. Imagine walking on eggshells every single day. You wake up, your heart already pounding, wondering what version of the person you once loved will show up today. Will they be kind? Will they act like nothing happened? Or will today be the day when a look, a word, or even silence sets them off? For millions of people, this is not just a bad relationship. This is their reality. And for some, like Alonna Gallon, it ends in the worst way possible. Domestic violence isn't something that happens to other people. It happens everywhere across all races, income levels, and backgrounds. Right now, as you're listening, someone somewhere is trapped in an abusive relationship. Maybe it's someone you know. Maybe it's you. The truth is staggering. 1 in 3 women experience physical violence from a partner at some point in their lives. Nearly 20 people per minute are physically abused by an intimate partner in the United States. Every year, more than 10 million people suffer abuse at the hands of someone who once claimed loss. And it doesn't always start with bruises and broken bones. It starts small. Until it's too late, most abusers don't start with violence. At first, they love you harder than anyone ever has. They make you feel special, chosen, protected. Then one day, something shifts. You notice how easily they get jealous, how they need to know where you are all the time, how they don't like your friends so you see them less and less. Then come the threats. Maybe they don't hit you, not yet, but they raise their voice. Their face twists in anger. They tell you, "You're nothing without me. No one else will ever love you." What happens next? For millions of people, the story ends the way Alonna Gallon's did, with a life cut short by the very person who once swore to love them. If you see yourself in this story, or if you know someone who might be in trouble, here's what you need to watch for. Extreme jealousy. They don't just love you, they obsess over you. They accuse you of cheating, question everything you do, and get angry when you don't text back fast enough. Controlling behavior. They want to control your choices, what you wear, who you talk to, where you go. They say it's because they care, but caring is not control. Isolation. They cut you off from friends, family, and anyone who might help you see that their behavior isn't normal. Threats. Intimidation. They say things like, "If you leave me, you'll regret it." Or, "If I can't have you, no one will." Explosive anger. Apologies. They hurt you, scream at you, threaten you, then cry, apologize, and promise it will never happen again. Until it does. If any of this sounds familiar, you need to listen to that feeling in your gut. Because abusers don't stop. They don't change. And one day it could be too late. If you're in a relationship that scares you, or if you know someone who is, there is help. You are not alone. You can contact National Domestic Violence Hotline. Call 1-800-799-SAFE, 7233. They can help you make a plan, find resources, and get out safely. Local shelters, support groups. Many cities have shelters and advocates who can enter while wording your abuser. Safety planning. If you can't leave yet, have a plan. You know where you can go. Keep emergency money hidden. And have someone you trust ready to help. Legal protection, restraining orders, police reports, and legal aid can be tools to protect yourself, though they should be part of a bigger plan to ensure your safety. If someone you know is in danger, here's what you can do. Listen without judgment. Don't say, "Why don't you just leave?" Instead, ask, "How can I help?" Offer a safe space. Even if they're not ready to leave, let them know they have somewhere to turn. Call for help if they can't. If you ever believe someone's life is in danger, don't wait. Call 911. If you take nothing else from this video, take this: you deserve to be safe. You deserve to be loved without fear. You deserve to survive. Alonna Gallon's story is heartbreaking, but her death cannot be for nothing. If even one person watching this recognizes the signs, reaches out for help, and gets out safely, then her story has saved a life. Maybe that life is yours. If you or someone you love is in danger, please don't wait. Help is out there. If you've experienced domestic violence and want to share your story, drop a comment below. You never know who might need to hear your words today. Alonna Gallon's story should never have ended this way. She was a mother, a daughter, a friend, someone who was working hard, taking care of her child, and trying to build a future. But in just a few moments, her life was taken away by someone who was supposed to care for her. Domestic violence is real. It is deadly. And it happens every single day. If you're watching this right now, ask yourself, could this tragedy have been prevented? What signs did people miss? How can we make sure this doesn't happen to someone else? Your thoughts matter. Your voice matters. Let's keep this conversation going. If you believe Alonna's story needs to be heard, don't let it stop here. Like this video, because every interaction pushes this story further. More people need to see this. Comment below, what do you think should have been done differently? What advice would you give to someone in a dangerous relationship? Share this video. You never know who might need to hear this. It could be the story that saves their life. Subscribe to the channel. We cover real cases that expose hidden dangers, warning signs, and the truth behind tragic stories. You won't want to miss what's coming next. Our next case will uncover another shocking, true story, one that could change the way you see the world around you. Stay tuned, stay safe, and never stop asking questions. Turn on notifications so you don't miss it.